It's a very special kind of joy that you get when you have the chance to collaborate with someone who is not only someone that you admire, but is also someone that you know and count as a friend. And they're just so incredible at what they do. I am so excited for you guys for this particular episode with Julie. You are in for a treat. She is very, very, very good at what she does. She does it at a very high level, at a very high quality. And she and I have had the chance to work together in so many different iterations. We worked together in our corporate careers previously, and then is an alumni of my star astrology course and the human design program. And she's gone on to infuse everything that she does with the magic of human design and astrology as well. And I'm just continually impressed by her, and I know that you will be too. I think what she's going to introduce to us today, this way of being and working, is going to resonate with so many of you. Okay, I can't wait to get into it. Enough intro. Sit back, relax. We're going to talk about the portfolio career. Hello, everyone. I am so thrilled to have Julie Fedele here on the podcast. We have such an amazing topic for you today. It is one that I think will be very intriguing, very interesting, very eye-opening, very inspiring to anyone who is wanting to create a business or a business model that truly fits who they are and their varied interests. So Julie is an incredible coach, leader, speaker, and her area of expertise is really around the portfolio career. And what I love about Julie is that she incorporates human design into everything that she does as well. So I've got a fantastic list of questions that we can't wait to go through. But first of all, thank you and welcome, Julie, for being here.
Thank you so much, Rachel. I'm so excited to have this conversation.
Yes, this is so special to me because we have known each other through all of these different phases of our entrepreneurship journey, of our personal growth journey, of our lives. And we actually met in the corporate world. So you're I always think of people that I met in corporate, like you knew me before and now you
Yeah,
know me now. There's something special about that. So we
I think
met,
so.
yeah, working together at a tech management consultants company. We ended up going on, you reminded me, a trip to India together, which I
Yes.
almost forgot about.
That was why we were selected out of it was quite a special trip. It was like 12 people. It was
Yes,
amazing experience.
exactly. And we were like representing the UK, right?
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
when you were living here. Wow. How far have we come
I
in our
mean, it's
journey?
lifetimes. I
Yeah.
love your phrasing about the before and after because it's a special type of deep recognition being seen in both areas when someone knows you like, oh, I remember you back then and oh my
Mhm.
gosh, it's really, changed for it become more of you in this version.
Exactly. Exactly. And it's special because you're right. Because it's like you see the person, you see their progression, you see the things that are amazing about them that have always been there, but also how they've changed and grown. And yeah, it's just something really special about that. So tell me, you have recently made a big leap in so many ways, moving continents, moving countries, and
Yep.
also leaving your corporate career for
Mhm.
the entrepreneur's adventure, as I like to say. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about that transition and what are you passionate about right now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I recently had a few huge moves. So I started the seeds of my portfolio career actually back in 2020. So I was always had side projects
Hmm.
as I was working full time. But I officially made the leap around 12 months ago. Actually, my business just had its 12 months birthday, which is really cool.
Congrats! Yes.
And I also left London to move back to Australia 12 months ago as well. So there was two
Wow.
big changes. And I guess now with my business, as you said, I'm mentor and coach. And the thing that is just lighting me up so much now is it's going to sound soppy. So, you know, when you hear people who say, you can really love your work, do work that lights you up, you're excited to get up. And for so long, that was just depressed within me because I
Hmm.
wasn't in the right spaces and places in my corporate job.
Hmm.
And I kind of wake up every day and think, how am I getting paid to do this? This is so much fun. And I know that sounds corny, but it is so true. That's exactly where I'm at right now.
No, it's so true. And I know that, people who are on their kind of early business journey, may wonder if this is a real thing or if it's just something that people say. But I think you and I both can attest to we have found our purpose, or at least a big part of our
Yeah.
purpose in this life. And there's nothing like that feeling of waking up and knowing it, even in the hardest times of my business. And I was, catching you up earlier. I've been through some really hard times in my business and personal life. And of course, there's connections there over the last like couple of years. But I would still wake up and know that this was the path. I
Yeah.
never doubted the path. I was doubting my ability to walk the path, but I knew
Mhm.
that this was for me. And there's something so, it's such a relief. To me, it feels like this sense of
Yeah.
belonging, this sense of relief that I never had in my corporate career. I always felt a bit lost there. Can you speak
Yes.
to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I resonate with that so much because for a long time, when people used to, even when I worked with you and you did, and you actually introduced me to human design, so you were my first teacher, and you read my design and my astrology, and you said, you've got so much to give and so much impact, and you're a hard worker, and all of these different labels or like themes that I
Mhm.
thought, I don't feel like I'm any of that in
Mm,
my corporate career. I almost felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt like, why don't I have the spark to go the extra mile? Like I just didn't have any of that. And when I decided to really tune into my sacral, I'm a 3/5 sacral generator, and discern between what's lighting me up versus what is nervous excitement because I should do this. I don't want to miss the opportunity. That distinction really changed the way I viewed like life in general and
mhm.
really following the path of alignment. And it isn't easy every day, but each day when I check in, it's like it's the right path, which is calming.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's calming and contentment in a way.
Yes. Oh, it's so beautiful. When we're on, sometimes I describe it as when we're climbing the corporate ladder for those of us who have this pull to be our own boss or to create our own projects in life. When you're climbing the corporate ladder, sometimes I talk about it as like you realize you're on the wrong ladder. You do have the energy and the passion to climb something. You do have this like creative vision and flame inside of you. It's just focusing on the wrong things. And
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like now that you have found that, it's like you never want to let it go. And yeah, and what I think is so special and inspiring about you is that you have gone to the next level of not just, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to create a business, but thinking deeply and very intentionally about the model itself. And so this is why, your expertise, you have so much passion around this portfolio career model.
Mm.
That term may be new to some people listening,
Yep.
that may be very familiar. I would love for you to kind of describe like what does it mean to have a portfolio career? What is that model
Yep.
of entrepreneurship? Yeah.
Yeah, great. I love talking about portfolio careers. It's actually not a new terminology. So
Okay.
Charles Handy he's he was an incredible thought leader. He passed last year. He wrote back in like the 50s or 60s a book around this type of shape of work. He was
Really?
forecasting the future of work. It's his incredible thought leader in the space of how to work
Mm,
and how to live a nourished life.
wow.
And so he came up with this concept of like a portfolio of work, just like we have a portfolio of investments.
Mm,
And generally, for many years until recently, I'd say until the last 3 years, portfolio careers were used in reference to CEOs who were retiring and
mm.
they wanted to semi-retire. So they wanted to be on a board and get paid. They wouldn't mind dabbling in some consulting and potentially doing some mentoring.
Hmm.
And so they had a portfolio of work and they would call it a portfolio career.
Wow, this is so
Yeah.
interesting. Like we have to get back to this topic of like CEO and CEO energy because it's very present for
Yes.
me right now too. But it's interesting because I just on a little side note here, when I was working at Deloitte before I ended up going to where we work together, I heard a statistic. This is a little gruesome, but about partners that and which is the highest level, right? They're kind of
Yes.
mini CEOs in that kind of model. But when they retire, the age of like death ended up being about 65, which was the retirement age because, well, the guess is because it's like they don't have anything to do anymore.
Yeah.
And they think they're going to go and just relax and like what, sleep for a while. But when they've been going, and they have all this creative energy, has nowhere to go. So this makes a lot of sense to me that,
Yep.
CEOs retiring would be looking for, okay, but I'm not, don't count me out. Like I'm
Yeah, don't
not
come me out.
done. Yeah, I
Yeah,
want to still be contributing, be of service, and be creative. So wow, this is
absolutely.
fascinating.
And it was really like if you looked at the model, so I went deep into like the model of portfolio careers, and it was really interesting. You have these bright sparks of like the universe just drops in a gift in the form of a human. So I was having this conversation. I'm going to name him because he's an incredible human. He lives in London. His name's Andy Am, and he is does so much for Black founders and the Black founder community in
Oh
the
wow.
UK. He's incredible. He taught me how to angel invest as well. And one day we were having a conversation in 2018. And I was saying, Andy, I'm so unhappy. He was a great mentor to me. And he's much younger than me too, but he's just like wise beyond his years. And I said, I want this and I want this. And he's like, Jules, it sounds like you want a portfolio career. And instantly I was like, portfolio career. I've never heard of this before.
Mhm.
So when I was doing the research, the profile of a portfolio careerist was generally a man in their 60s, a white man, who had a pedigree of,
Mhm.
you know, past experience.
Mhm.
And he would then go on sit on boards where he would get 350 grand a year to sit on this board, charge 10 grand here for a day of consulting. And I just felt
Nice
so,
work if you could get it, by the way.
I mean, like, power to you, but make room for the rest of us.
Yes.
And so I am also a soul number five, soul path five in
Oh,
numerology. So
yes.
I'm like I rebel, and also freedom is like my top value.
Love it.
So I
Yes.
thought, how can I build a portfolio career? Because I'm not that profile, but I also know deeply within me, and this is a bit of a sidetrack. It's an important part of where we are in work right now, why I think portfolios of careers are important for everyone, is I saw in my late 20s so many incredible women exit their corporate careers in their 40s.
Yep.
And I'm nearly 44.
Yep.
And so I was a 27-year-old woman watching all of these women exit the workforce. And I felt sorry for them. And I was
Mhm.
like, they're getting made redundant. This is happening. And when I used to catch up with them, they weren't that upset about the whole thing. And I said,
Mm.
so,
You're kind of accepting it.
well,
Mhm.
yeah, they were just like, now I'm going to do contracting. I'm going to do what I want. And they were really owning their lives.
Ooh.
And although I felt bad for them because some of them did get pushed out, in a way, I also was implanted it when I was a young woman working in corporate. Like, I don't want anyone to take the power from me of what I do next.
Right.
So in 2018, I said to myself, you're going to build multiple income streams. That's a key ingredient of a portfolio career. Basically means monetizing your skill set to create multiple income streams. And so generally portfolio careers are, generally you need 10 years experience as a minimum. And you have a certain skill set that you can then monetize across a portfolio of income. So
Mm.
for example, my two core skill sets is venture building and human design. I then mold them together and I've created different income streams that take up different amounts of my time, and I am not trading time for money any longer.
Love
And
it.
that's a portfolio career, right?
Hmm.
Essentially, in its simplest terms, it's multiple income streams monetizing your skill set.
Beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
it's empowering. Like
Yeah.
this new way of work. So the last thing I'll say about why I'm so passionate about portfolio careers is we have been sold this, I'm sorry, I'm being dramatic, but like lie of the corporate world safety,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
You have 30 years of safety. Even if you are a male, you worked in the mail room, you could work your way up and you could still have a good life. You can still go on holidays. You can pay for your children's education. You have safety. That is gone. The social contract of corporate is gone. So
Hmm.
my advice to everyone is be the CEO of your own life,
Hmm.
monetize your skill set. So when one income stream goes away, you're not desperate to replace it. You've got options.
I 1000% agree. I think that 2020, which was such a pivotal year for both you and me, really pulled the wool away from so many people's eyes, recognizing that, yeah, corporate is not a safe bet,
No.
and that the best bet, as Beyonce says, that you can make is on yourself. And that's why I love this concept of, well, this is why I'm so passionate about entrepreneurs, but I also love this concept of the portfolio career because it's really, in order to embrace it, you have to see your own value and also really bet on yourself and recognize that you are, and one way of saying it would be to say you are the prize. Like your
Yes.
expertise, your energy, your zone of genius, your experience, that is the prize. And it's your right and your, everything to monetize that. Ah, summer. Yes, the time when we sit back, we start to go into deep relaxation and we review and reset. This is when we start to get, we step back and we get this big picture of what's going on, right? Well, we have a special summer sale on here at Cosmic Queen. It's called the Summer of Stars. This is for anyone who has been wanting to really study, who has been wanting to not just kind of know some tips and tricks here and there, some insights here and there about their astrology and human design, but who's actually ready to learn the systems for themselves and to get into a fantastic community in order to support them as they do their personal growth with the cosmic insight. So there are 3 offers that are part of the Summer of Stars sale. You get 10% off right now between July 14th and August 22nd of 2025 off of these courses. Number 1, you can study the star. This is my signature astrology course, on-demand video modules plus workbooks and quizzes and bonus videos from fantastic astrologers where you get to actually learn how to read your own birth chart. But not only that, I'm going to help you to figure out how to support others as well. So this is a super empowering astrology course that you have been looking for. So that's the star. That's number 1. Number 2 in this Summer of Stars sale is the design. This is my human design signature course. Also video, also on demand, also including all the workbooks and quizzes and tools that you need in order to further integrate this knowledge. This is how you really read a body graph for empowering yourself and also empowering others. I'm all about practical magic here and applying what we learn. So everything I teach you about astrology or human design in these courses is very much with this eye on the practical of like, okay, but what does this mean for my life? How am I actually going to use this in my relationships? How can I start to craft my business and my brand using this cosmic insight? And then the third offer included is the Constellation Community. Fresh with a new price, and very soon there will be a new membership platform, which I'm so excited about. So the Constellation Community is the fast growing, fantastic community of your dreams where you get to learn cosmic systems, how to apply them to life, business, and relationships, but commune with others at the same time. We meet monthly and we talk about the upcoming zodiac season. I give you all the key dates and the key insights so that you can learn how to harness these energies for yourself. Plus, there's an incredible course vault of over 23 courses and over 10 meditations. I'm always adding to it. We're always having new guests in the group and we're always up leveling our cosmic empowerment. So if you want to be part of any of these 3 courses or the membership, please do jump in. The summer is a great time to take that step back and invest in yourself and take the time to really study the stars. Now, I'm offering a limited time special bonus for the first 10 people to purchase a course or the membership. For the first 10 people, you get the opportunity to ask me 3 of your burning questions. So this is awesome, right? Because you get to ask the expert, the person who has studied and lived these systems for many years, has used them in her own business. You get to ask about your charts. So anything you want to know, what kind of are the traits of my soulmate? How can I support my kids better with their astrology or human design? What's my personal brand? What's the most magnetic thing about me? The sky's the limit. Ask me your 3 questions, and I would love to send you some recorded video, some recorded audio responses so that you can have that insight to come back to again and again as you take your next steps. All right. As we say around here at Cosmic Queen, we study the stars until we realized we are one. Join us inside. The link is in the show notes. Now back to the episode. I want to kind of bring in the human design here.
Yeah,
So
sure.
you mentioned that you're a 3-5 generator, right?
Yes.
So I was wondering if how does human design kind of play into this portfolio career? Are there certain aspects of someone's human design that might make them like best suited for it? Do you think anyone can have a portfolio career? What is your perspective?
Yeah, okay. Love the question.
Yeah.
Thank you. So yes, anyone. So the reason in a way, there's the reason why I use portfolio careers because most of the women I work with have been in the corporate world and don't necessarily see them as themselves as a founder,
Right.
right? So
Mm-hmm.
the accessibility of the words of entrepreneur or founder feels too far for them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so when you're talking about portfolio career, it's like, oh, I'm monetizing my skill set, so it feels a bit more accessible. So that's the first thing, and why I also I think we're all entrepreneurs, but that's something important I wanted to
I
say in terms.
agree. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Secondly, there are actually why my mind was blown when I started learning about portfolio careers deeper is because each profile energy type, so for example, a manifesting generator versus a generator has a different structure of portfolio career based on their energy type. So,
Yes.
for example, and we were chatting about this earlier about your structure of your business versus
Mm-hmm.
mine. So when you're setting up your business model, and this is how I apply human design in how I support clients, is instead of just stepping into what everyone else is doing, oh, I have to be a consultant, then I have to charge out at this rate, I am still exchanging time for money.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what we
Right.
look at, if you're a multi, I call an MG a multi-portfolio career archetype.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you structure your income streams is you can have your yoga side hustle. You can have a core income where you're doing consulting, and then you can have a digital product that you're selling, but you have 3 or 4 different income streams going
Mm-hmm.
at the same time in your product ecosystem.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That works super well, as you would know, for an MG, because anytime my clients, MG clients sometimes come to me and say, another coach or mentor, and they're all well-intentioned, have said, I must just focus on this thing and it's killing me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and it just squashes your energetics, right? You feel
Yes.
deflated. And
Yes.
so the way I work with the MG clients is firstly, we do income stream mapping and figure out where they want to focus their energy and attention. And we choose 1 to 2 core income streams. This is where they're going to get most of their income from. And then we allow space for them to be creative and fun and monetize. If they want to do a skincare at the markets, one of my clients, she's predominantly an executive breathwork coach, but she also makes incredible skincare, which I have. I've bought some from her and she
Mm.
sells them at the markets. And she's also a yoga instructor, but she felt that she had to deplete those and
Mm.
just focus on the one. Now she's doing that, she's thriving.
Amazing. Oh, it's like permission, isn't it? This is what human design helps us do, is it gives us permission to just be ourselves and do
Yeah.
things in the way that we naturally want. But it also gives us a language for it. Because you're right, like a lot of coaches out there are giving this cookie cutter advice, unfortunately, not recognizing that someone's natural desire and pull to do something means that they probably can see it through, and maybe there's something in their design that kind of leads them towards that.
Yeah.
So,
And so
yeah, sorry, go ahead. Mhm.
sorry, so we have like those, I have four different archetypes. Reflectors can sits is the it sits over across a couple of ones. So we
Mm,
have the builder, which is a generator, is the
mm.
generator, the multi, which is the MG, the advisor, which is the projector, and then we have the innovator, which is the manifestor.
Oh, that's perfect. That terminology
Right?
just so fits without
It's
me
there.
even knowing exactly how you apply it. I love it.
And I also did and the way and then the reflector often sits more within the advisor shape portfolio
Yeah,
career.
I could see
And
that.
depending on if you're an energy projector or a non-energy projector, will also focus on which how we structure your work week and how you go after that income. So
Yes.
that's the foundation. So I always start, I have a 6P framework, and the first P is purpose, but really deeply understanding why the corporate career didn't work for you because it was a
Mm,
cookie cutter industrial system that
hmm.
was made to make machines, which we are not. And it's just not the way we work today.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we start with that foundation, and then I use the profile lines deeply with to build people's authority, how they move through the world. Like for me, understanding my 3-5 profile completely changed the way I do business.
Oh my
Com-
gosh. Can we like pause on that for a minute because I want to know more about how you see the 3-5. It's one of the profiles that is common. Like a lot of people are 3-5s, but I find that they really a lot of people struggle to embrace it fully. Like
Mhm.
embrace fully the three and also embrace the challenges and the genius of the five. I would love
Yep.
to know your thoughts and how you see those gifts come through in your business.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Rachel, the reason why I was in corporate for so long is because I was petrified of experimenting and falling over. Like I
Hmm.
thought I need that safety net, and that's unconsciously that safety net was corporate.
Hmm.
That's what I thought, but it deeply made me unhappy. And I guess when I learned about the 3-5, I thought to myself, firstly, the fifth line projection, understanding why at work I would be the favorite for a year, and then like that, people would totally change their vibe to me. And
Hmm.
I'm still the same person. What has happened? So,
Yeah,
really deeply understanding the recasting of projection onto me, huge unlock because then I could put boundaries in place. So, a couple of things I did was firstly, I'll start with the line three. In my business, the way I move through the world is nothing is ever set in stone. So, I've been running my business, the Portfolio Career Club, in some shape for like 2.5 years.
amazing. Hmm.
It has changed every cohort because experiment. I'm like, oh, test, learn, iterate, experimentation, taste that, try that. Oh, that didn't work.
Hmm.
And it never feels like it's a failure to me because I'm like, I'm just getting more data that I'm experimenting with. And as I experiment, I use my line five to then say, here are the reasons why it's shifting. And here's what I learned. And I use that in my sales copy, etc. And
Amazing.
so now I naturally only write content through. So I used to try to we try to copy everyone. It's just natural human inclination. And a lot of the time I would read writers who were definitely 5-1s. Now I'm like, I bet they're a 5-1. And
Hmm.
they would write these eloquent stories from the left angle cross, like the transpersonal. And I'm
Yes.
just like, how do you do that? And I tried to be that writer, but as soon as I learned, oh, Jules, your way to build authority is through I statement. I tried this. I experimented this. I learned this. Here's don't do this in the future because believe me, I tried and it didn't work for me.
Yes, yes. This is what I always say to third lines is like, your story is the magic. Your
Yes.
experience is the magic. People will hire you because of your experience and your
Yes.
story and what you've been through. But the urge is so strong to just generalize everything and be like, oh,
Yep.
look over here, look at this concept rather than look at this, parable from my life that I can, teach through. Hmm.
100%. So all of my content is through my eyes.
Amazing.
So in part of, I do share like insights from the Portfolio Career Club. So I have a weekly newsletter I write and I have different sections. And a part of it is like we're growing businesses. It's important to social proof. We want to highlight our client wins, etc.
Hmm.
But every time I post about a personal story and insights versus like a case study, my engagement's always through, loads more engagement, loads more saves
Hmm.
than I get on when I'm, doing a case study or anything that's not like a personal magical story,
Right.
because I've also embraced the gift of I am not the polished
Hmm.
individual.
Hmm.
So
And that's not what people need you to be. Like, no one needs you to be that.
no, and it's so interesting because some people have gone on my website. So I got this feedback the other day. I love this client. She's just like, Jules, it's so funny. When I first saw your website, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting into, we all know there's some really popular, very big name coaches who have this aesthetic.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying I have a similar, as the same aesthetic, but it is a professional type
It's
aesthetic. And
beautiful. Yes, I know
it's,
what
yeah,
you're
it
talking
feels
about.
very
Yeah.
elevated. It
It's
is an
luxe. It's
elevated, it's
luxe.
luxe,
It's professional.
right?
It's beautiful. Yeah. Hmm.
But when you're in my container, it's raw, it's real, hey, I share my personal failures. And that shocked some people
Wow. So they weren't expecting that from the way you presented
in
initially.
my website. But when
Yeah.
they follow me but anyone who comes from my newsletter, I share personal stories. So sometimes what's also interesting, and you would know this from following your own design,
Hmm.
I had a call the other day with a private client who I have not spoken to at all. She's
Hmm.
just read my Substacks. And she was like, yeah, I want to work with you. And I'm like, hang on. This is a very deep container. We want to make sure it's right. I want
Yeah.
to run your design because you probably need 3 days to think about it, depending on your decision-making process. But she's like, no, I know you. You see me. You've been
Wow.
through what I've been through.
Hmm.
And that's all through personal stories of what I've experienced in my corporate life.
Yes, it's that I always talk about the third line as being like they have the relatability factor. You know, it's like
Yeah.
people can relate to you because they see themselves in you and in your experience, and that is what builds the trust. Whereas,
Yeah.
like you mentioned, the 5-1 is so different. That
So different.
5-1 is more like, oh, they have the expertise or they have the method and the approach that I need. And there's
To,
something just
yeah.
so wonderful, yeah, about the three
Yeah.
five or the 3-5 profile or the 3-6, anything with the three is like, no, they've lived it. They haven't, they
They
don't
lived
just
it.
know
Yeah.
it intellectually, they've lived it. And it's, yeah, but
Yeah.
this is the beauty of knowing your human design and knowing how to harness it, use it in a way that works for you. And I love that you take this concept of the portfolio career and then you personalize it to the person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so amazing because when I meet 3 5s who are in perfectionism, like the
Mm.
lower exception,
Oh, yeah.
I see them because I say, I've seen you, I've been you.
Hmm.
And it's painful because you outsource your sacral authority. Well, I used to outsource my authority to my mind because I did get when I was in corporate, I got the fancy title.
Yeah.
I was speaking on stages, but everything felt depthless
Mm.
because I wasn't in my, overused word, but it didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel in integrity. And now when I get to speak on your podcast and when I get to talk on a stage, it lights me up so much with through my fifth line because I can really share genuine insights
Yes.
for the problems I really want to solve.
Exactly. You have that personal destiny. You had to go through something first, experience something, but then you have that fifth line ability to then share it, simplify it for people, teach the steps, etc.
Yeah.
It's just what a powerhouse. What a powerhouse. So, how would someone start their portfolio career? Like, what's the first step for someone
Yeah.
listening who maybe is at the very beginning of like their business journey or mapping out the rest of their career? What's that first step that you would encourage them to take?
I would love them to have a foundational understanding of their human design. So
Mhm.
in how I work with women is I keep it very foundational, but depth in foundation. So
Hmm.
we really understand our energetics. So, like, we understand our energy type, we understand our decision making process, we understand our profile,
Hmm.
we understand, like, literally, if you're a generator, are you lit up or is that FOMO?
Right.
Let's understand this because I thought I was lit up by all these titles, but actually it was as soon as I got the new job, I was like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Not genuinely lit up. So that's like that would be I would say if you have capacity and time to take a moment to think if you're stepping out or you're thinking about stepping out of a corporate career, learn about do a bit of inner work to understand like what if I follow the breadcrumbs of my life, like what
Mhm.
has genuinely stayed with me. And a story I tell is my own origin story is when I was 5, my father had a terrible accident and he lost a leg at work.
Oh, wow.
It was a work accident in Australia in the 80s, lots of men, construction site workers. There was no safety.
Mm,
Now we have a lot of safety because of that, but a lot of people sacrificed their lives and limbs for that moment in time.
mm,
And so from his being his daughter, a 5-year-old girl, seeing their father's vocation be ripped from them. He's never worked again,
mm.
right?
Yeah.
And he loved his work. And so from a very young age, I knew the breadcrumb was I want to find the thing that I want to help people find the thing that lights them up
Hmm.
and build not just portfolio career, but I didn't have the language then. I wanted them to build a portfolio life, like earn money that lights you up, understand how you can build a community so you're nourished from the soul, have
Hmm.
good relationships, so have that full life.
Yes.
And I threw that into the shadow because, I mean, you go to business school, they don't teach you there. That's not important.
Right.
That breadcrumb kept coming up. I used to love Tony Robbins when I was 20 and depressed. He got me out of my funk. Like there was all of these breadcrumbs.
Hmm.
And I talk to when people are in that moment where how do I start? It's like let's understand your energy base level energetics and then follow the breadcrumbs of what's the joy? What's the spark of joy?
Hmm.
And what you first step out with is not where you're going to end up in a year or even 6 months. Like let's conduct micro experiments to see if this is the type of thing you like.
Yes. Oh, that's such good advice because I think a lot of times when you think, oh, wow, I need to develop this whole like sparkly, shiny new model or career, you're thinking about what the end point looks like maybe 5 years from now. But what you're saying, and I think us both coming from a tech background helps us to understand why this is better and why this
Yes.
works better. But you have to take the baby steps. You have to take, in agile development, fail
Yes,
fast, right? Don't try to build the whole thing brick by brick, but instead take that thin slice, figure out what's
exactly.
day one look like,
Yeah.
and then I'll evolve and iterate from there. And that's an approach that I think a lot of, new business creators, business owners, entrepreneurs, whatever you want to call it, is like really need to anchor into is it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be perfect from day one. It doesn't even have to be the whole thing from day one.
No.
You just need to start and then grow and from there. But what all of that requires a lot of different energetics, a lot of different personal growth, but it requires one big thing that I wanted to ask you about, and that's courage.
Mhm.
Does it take, would you say that it takes more courage to have a portfolio career? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think I would just remove. So for me, a portfolio career, or even, being an entrepreneur, whatever label you want to put on it, the courage is deciding I'm going to be the CEO of my life. That's the courage to me.
Hmm.
Because whether you're in a traditional structure or you have stepped out in monetizing your skill set in a portfolio career shape or an entrepreneur, whatever you identify as, you are driving your life. You are deciding I always talk about it's cliche, but cliche for a reason, working on the business, working versus working in the business.
Hmm.
And most of our corporate lives, we just work in the business for someone else. They dictate what we do.
Yeah.
And that's why I never fit into that structure because I'm like, you know what? I want to dictate what I want to do. And I think that most of us feel, and I always feel this like depletion because in people when they're in corporate is because they're suppressing that knowing of this is not how I should be spending my time.
Right.
So,
And you've
in,
worked in all kinds of different companies. You've worked in
yeah,
startups, you've worked in big companies, you've worked in private equity, you've worked in all of these different, worlds in
yes.
tech, in consulting, and all of these things. And there's that through line, isn't it, of people just doing what they're told and kind of losing that identity and that spark and that creativity.
Yeah, and then what happens when, you wake up one day and your role's been made redundant, right?
Yep.
And so, I mean, a lot of like I have incredible clients, but a lot of their story is, oh my gosh, I worked there for 11 years, I was there for 15 years, and then one day, it all went away. And I
Hmm.
guess I had this, and it's in my, I have, we both have Genius to Freak, I think the channel.
Yeah, I have the 43 only. I don't have the 23,
Okay.
but yeah, I have the 43.
So I have ge is Genius to Freak in it's in the unconscious part of my human design. But when I was 27, I remember where I was standing. I remember the carpet, the smell. I had this insight at 27 that that's not going to be me.
Mm,
And I just knew that my whole journey was figuring out how to have the courage to be the CEO of my life. I didn't have the vocab at the time, but that's the biggest step you can take. I'm going to back myself,
yes.
whatever you do.
Hmm.
And then putting boundaries around that and saying, okay, here's what I'm going to accept, here's what I'm not going to accept. And I always say to my clients, see, personal Julie sometimes gets up and just wants to read a book,
Hmm.
right? Or go on book talk because I love
Hmm.
it.
Oh, I love book talk.
Oh
Yes.
my God, book talk, I'm obsessed, right? I'm obsessed. I love it. But CEO Julie knows this is what she needs to do to
Mhm.
live, the life of her dreams, to have this portfolio life, and she's making decisions from that energy.
Yes.
Feel like sometimes that takes more courage than updating your LinkedIn. I'm a founder. Okay, great. But what does that actually mean? What are you doing
Hmm.
every day
Yes.
to step
What
into that?
what you're talking about is just this like conscious intention and then a choice, but then backing up that choice with action and multiple small and big choices every single day as you go to just
Yeah.
back yourself. Just back
Back
yourself in
yourself.
that. Hmm.
And law of momentum, right? So you can stay in your brand colors for days on end. But
People
if you
love to do that. Yes.
I mean, I did it. I loved it. I did it for like a year, I'm pretty sure. But the rubber hits the road when you're in momentum and you're iterating in the market. And I
Yes.
mean, I guess that's what we also learned from the tech world.
Yes, that's so true. So true. So courage, embodiment, and being the CEO of your life.
Yeah.
Words to live by. Thank you so much, Julie. Oh my gosh. I wish we had more time to like dive into all of your methodology. It is so fantastic. But everyone, make sure that you go and follow Julie, follow her path, check out her programs. What she's doing is truly incredible. I've heard amazing things from her clients. And so who are on the inside, they're like, there's nothing like this. Yes. Is there anything else you want to leave us with for those who are, ready to take this step of courage? Anything else you want to share with us today?
Oh, I want to say, sometimes, your desires are there for a reason. Like I really believe in this. So anytime we're feeling, I always say envy is misplaced desire. So if you're ever looking at something and you're like, I want that, I mean, that is your breadcrumb to make the change.
Yes. Oh, so good. How can people get in touch with you? We're going to be posting this in Leo season, so all about courage. Is there anything that you know that's coming up you want to share with us?
Yeah, I guess people can get me on my Substack. So it's Portfolio Careerist. I write a weekly newsletter and also my name, so Julie_Fedele on my social media. That's
Mhm.
on LinkedIn and Instagram. And I do, yeah, I mean, I do write weekly. So if anyone wants to check in, they're more than welcome.
It's really good, FYI. You write really great, really long, but
I
in
do. It's
depth.
long.
No, but it's
Yeah.
great because, like you said, you have all these sections,
Yeah.
and each one is a gem. So I highly recommend. I think there are a lot of Substacks out there, but yours is absolutely worth the weekly read. I think it's fabulous.
Oh, thank
So,
you.
yes, thank you so much, Julie, for being with us. So excited for everyone to go and check out your work and to take that step into becoming the CEO of their life. See you
Thank you
later.
so much, Rachel.
Thank you.